Now, speaking of directors, let's get into our best director segment. This one changed a lot, especially as I started to do my research, as I started to look into who filmed what and who directed this and who edited that. It ended up getting a bit techie, this list jumped around a bit, and I think that if I filmed this tomorrow, this list might change, but this is what I'm gonna stick with for now. Number 5, Joe Plum. Joe Plum isn't a household name. He's not known by many, but he has done some amazing work. Obviously, first one we talked about, Freedom by Chillin' It. Also doing the visuals for horror shows Grain by Grain, and just, if we take those 2 videos alone, again, it's what I'm talking about, that professional look. We're celebrating people that may not have the biggest budget on hand, but managed to do an amazing job. Now, I'm not sure what budget he works with, and I'm not sure if these men hire him for a big bag, or if he just manages to work with what he's got. But like a video like Grain by Grain, they've obviously scouted the location, they've planned choreography, they've planned who stands where, they just, everything worked well. And then on top of that, with that editing style of, I'm not going to go over top with the plugins and the effects, but I'm going to do these subtle things that just add character to the video, like in Grain by Grain when he does like the line drawing and like little effects as the gestures start to happen. I think that's dope. I also believe he edited or directed and the Chillin' It's most recent track that he did a couple days ago, but I've not got confirmation on that, so I could be wrong. But again, the same kind of film style and the same kind of effects, and that's the only reason I say so. So Joe Plum, shout yourself out, big man. And number 4 in the list, we got Maxed Out. Now, Maxed Out gets into this list for capturing a moment, for capturing big parts of this year. And so when we go back to the best video of the year, obviously when we're talking about 1-4, I mentioned In the Beginning and Lads in the Hood as being more professional videos, but Maxed Out managed to capture the message and spot the difference. And the message, just the message alone, that was the moment that sparked Australian drill. That is the moment that put Australia, rappers from Australia, on the map to an international audience. Big man, the whole reason they had that Vice documentary was because of the message. Of course, the other work they did in that year that supplemented it, but the message was probably the part that someone from Vice looked at and went, shit, we need to document this journey. Like, he captured that moment and managed to put all of those little segments into one 3.5 minute video, or however long the song is, and just create a moment. That doesn't make a top 5 list. I don't know what does. On top of that, did the directing for Wombat Zombie, the track that Brothers have done, who are a new and upcoming group, and has done plenty of other work throughout the year. And again, I see him often credited for editing as well, not always just directing. So again, he's one that does like to get a tiny bit more techie, especially with things like transitions and whatnot. But yeah, Maxed Out definitely has to be up there for just bringing moments to the scene. Number 3 on my list is Jean, and the reason I put Jean above Maxed Out is a similar thing. Maxed Out captured the moments, and Jean put that touch of class with it as well, and so that's why Jean goes up there. Of course, just for his work for Lads in the Hood and In the Beginning alone. That does enough. I'm sure he's done work with other artists throughout the year as well. But for being able to have 2 videos in a top list, to have what people see as the most popular videos of the year, you can't leave him out of a top 5. He's one of them. He has more reason to not put him in his list than he does to put in the list. No, wait, he has more reason to not put him in a list than he does to put. You get what I mean. Number 1 breakdown as voted by myself. And number 2 on our list is Khau Galli. Now, Khau Galli hasn't necessarily edited videos that have the craziest millions of views numbers this year, but in terms of the quality of his work and how far wide he stretched himself, this man does just more than videos. Of course, doing the videos for Nerve on his Mama's Boy EP, doing Sunday Roast and Gone Stupid, and just he managed to capture an artist's personality, and that's not very easy to do, but managed for him and Nerve, and obviously the No One Network team around them to create that. Obviously doing work with No One Network throughout the year, capturing freestyles and ciphers and working. I'm sure he works in a bit of fashion as well. I know he does photography for these different models and these eccentric things. I follow Khau Galli. I don't necessarily always understand what he's up to, but he's always doing these just trendy little unique things throughout the year. So if he's not working with some of the best artists in the scene, he's just honing his skills and trying out new things. And I'm sure that he has way more planned than he's even executed. And, you know, still working with the likes of Wombat. He edited for my video, Tom and Jerry, shameless plug, I Do Not Care. And developing himself as a brand, you know a Khau Galli video when you see one. Like, if he doesn't put that logo at the start or say directed or filmed or edited by Khau Galli, you still can recognize his work. And so, yeah, man, Khau Galli's so fucking talented. And I did a podcast with him earlier on in the year. And, yeah, he just seems like a real dope dude as well. Dope dude. I don't think I've said that before, but you know what? We're going to run with it. Number 1 breakdown as voted by myself. And on number 1 in the list, Creasy Visions. Now, Creasy, the movie director. Bruv, I'm telling you, when we talk about the videos that... Let me just reel off just a few projects that he's done this year. Young and Lips, Silent. Pistol Pete, I Swear. Massey Rook and Hefs, Who's Real. Hooligan Hefs, No Effect. Big man, you know what? Let's leave the list there. That 4 alone? Are you dumb? Man is actually capturing some of the most popular and trending songs of the year, and then making sure that it is a banging video every single time. Man made Who's Real. If that was the only thing he'd done this year, he would make it into this top 5. Not necessarily number 1, but he'd make it into the top 5 on that video alone. For him to then capture these other tracks as well, working with people that have been established for a while like Pistol Pete and Enzo, and then to also work with these up-and-comers like Massey Rook and Young and Lip. Like, listen! Creasy. Number 1 breakdown as voted by myself. That's the tweet right there. Don't chat to me about anyone who has put in more of a hustle as a videographer this year. Khau Galli is the only one who can match up to that. And so I'm going to speak very highly of Creasy and Khau Galli and say these men are fucking gods. When I come to Australia in the year of 2020, I want to work with Creasy. Creasy, when I fly over, big man, I want to work with you. So yeah, that's my top 5 list. And just a quick honorable mention to Martin Guilfoyle, who was in my list, but I just swapped him out for Joe Plum. Martin Guilfoyle does a lot of videos for Triple One, and they always have professional videos that are unique to each other. No 2 videos look the same. They always tell a story, and so he does a great job there. Also, an honorable mention and shout out to Gabriel Gasperinatos. I'm getting good at pronouncing this surname. I think his work in 2018 would have definitely made this list, but just this year I couldn't find as much, and I know he's been doing stuff, and I know he's been similar to Khau Galli in terms of doing these little side projects and working in like a fashion kind of sense as well, and working with more pop artists, but I just couldn't find enough examples myself, and that's just down to me just being an idiot and not being able to do enough research. But I know he does amazing work as well, so shout out Gabe. Now when we compare it to your list, again, a very similar list. So right here, you've got it. Jean, Creasy Visions, Maxed Out, Merked Out, and Khau Galli. So again, similar to my list, only 1 being the difference. Swapping Joe Plum for Merked Out. Merked Out Media did a bunch of things this year. And I know was quite active. Again, not at a super high top level, but definitely worked with a bag of artists. And the D on Merked looks different to Maxed Out. I'm a little bit annoyed about that. That's bothering me now, but we're gonna keep it moving. Jean being the top of the list, I'm not actually that mad at. Creasy obviously being up there second, and this vote, I promise you, only had about 15 to 20 votes, being the difference between 1 and 2. Like, it was crazy how close they were. Like, everyone who voted must have just clicked both of them as their first 2 options. Maxed Out being up there, of course, for his work with 1-4. And Khau Galli making the list because, again, Khau Galli as a brand is a name that people recognize. So even if people didn't even know what Khau Galli did in specific, people are like, oh, I've heard of Khau Galli, I'll vote for him. So that's where a marketing and branding side comes into it, perhaps. Joe Plum is amazing, but obviously we don't know much about him. I think that's why people like him and Martin Guilfoyle and Gabriel Gasparinatos, I think that's why they don't make this list, is because they don't have as much of a brand. I don't know if they have like logos or a specific style or anything, but you know, Khau Galli, you know a Khau Galli video when you see one. When it's no one network, you're just like, oh, it must be Khau Galli. So I think that's what plays into the fact of him being voted up there as well. Of course, on top of his amazing work. But once again, I'm not mad at that list. For the most part, I would definitely put Khau Galli higher up on that list. And I just don't see anyone being the top two other than Khau Galli and Creasy. But Jean being up there, it makes sense. I disagree. I definitely believe he's just a flat third no matter what. No matter what way I spin this or put this round, he's always been third in my list. But yeah, that top two is just... it's just insane. I feel like we've been blessed with video directors this year, and videography as a whole has been amazing. I'm so happy to see the step up in video quality, and I hope this continues.